Okay, so hello, good morning. How are you? Okay, so let's get started. Um, I this vlog is gonna go in such a direction because there's a couple things. First of all, and this is not supposed to be first of all, this is not why I chose the vlog today, but I'm gonna bring it up. I mentioned keeping track of what you vlog about, like when you're just making random vlogs. So, look at that. I was like, wait, I have these calendars I'm keeping all kinds of crap on. I might as well jot down on the back of it the like random vlogness. So if it's where something actually gets talked about, I'm going to write it down. And also, I used to keep like all these notes, like a list of things way back in the day. I used a dry erase board and I would like write the things that I wanted to write to talk about. What I thought just now was if I made that a list that I kept, I would have the documentation of what I talked about. So I'm like, here you go. So I have a list of things to talk about today. And I kind of feel like the reason I decided to vlog was like really kind of silly. Um, I was going to talk about DVRs and baby names and stuff like that. And then other things came up. So I guess I'll go ahead. I don't know. It was supposed to be just like a whatever vlog, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk about a couple of more important things, like bigger things. So up first, we're gonna talk about sleep. Now you guys know I'm pretty much like an insomniac. I don't sleep. I have never required a large amount of sleep. When I was a child, like my mom would always be like, "You were the last one to go to bed and the first one up." Um, she had my older sister, and my older sister slept like 18 hours a day. Like, actually, she slept almost 24, like 20 hours a day when she was a baby. And then, like, as a toddler, she slept like 18 hours a day. And my mom was like, oh, when I first had your sister, like, I would call friends frantically and be like, should I wake this baby up? What's the deal? And her pediatrician said, the baby is eating and is gaining weight and on track, so do not wake that baby up. So, of course, when my sister and I are like 20 months apart, like, no, we're like 23 months apart. So, when my sister was still very small, she had just started walking, my mom was like, oh my god, babies are so easy. Like, people who complain about how hard it is to have babies just don't make the perfect babies that me and my hubby do. And, like, let's have another baby because it's so easy. And then I came, and I required no sleep. Like, she was like, all of a sudden, I had this kid who would sleep for 15 minutes and be up for 6 hours, and sleep for 15 minutes and be up for 6 hours. And, like, I was actually supposed to be the last baby. There's 6 years between my brother and I, and she found out she was pregnant when she was on at a doctor's appointment to get her tubes tied. So clearly, I gave her a run for her money. Um, so sleep has just never been something I really need a lot of, and so you would think that only sleeping a little bit would be kind of easy to get in here and there, but it really isn't. Or it wasn't for me for a very long time. I had a lot of sleep issues um, as recently as just like a month ago. So I would be up all night. Some nights I wouldn't sleep. When it was bad, I wouldn't sleep for days and like weeks. And now, when you say I haven't slept for weeks, that's obviously not true. There's like you get to this place of like deliriousness where you are nodding off here and there, but you're awake way more than you should be, and you're not sleeping the way you should be, and everything else. Well, my wife switched jobs recently. She's kind of in this transitional place of like finding her niche. She wants to get into a different um, area. It's kind of like the same line of work but different. I don't know how to explain that without getting into a lot of detail that isn't for this video. But anyway, So she switched jobs, and the job that she has to be at now, it doesn't matter what she's doing all day. She has to be at work at the same time every morning, and she has to leave here an hour before that, which means that she gets up 30 minutes before 6. I get up at 5 o'clock. So for the first time ever in my life, I am getting up at the exact same time every day, right? And like the first week, it was really hard because it doesn't matter if I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I can't go to sleep until 3, 4, 4:30 kind of thing. So the first week was really rough. But every morning I would get up. And there's a couple of things I don't like. I don't like my coffee cold. I don't really like having to make two pots of coffee every day. And I don't totally enjoy rewarming coffee. So what was happening was I was waking up at 5 a.m. and like making her coffee and making her breakfast and packing her lunch, and she'd leave at 6, and then at like 6:15 I was sitting down to have my coffee and just starting my day. So first week it was pretty rough, and like I would get tired towards the evening and maybe take a nap, or like I wouldn't really take a nap, but I would lay down and stuff like that. The second week it started to get a lot easier. So suddenly it's like I'm going to bed. Like instead of not being able to sleep at like, I don't know, maybe it was like the end of the second week, I noticed that I was starting to fall asleep or get really tired. I was not yet going to sleep because I wasn't used to like being able to go to sleep, but I was getting really tired around 12:30. So like 12:15, I would just start feeling really tired. So I was like, all right, whatever, I fell asleep watching TV a couple times or whatever. By the time the second week ended, I was naturally opening my eyes maybe 5 minutes before my alarm would go off. Like, bink, right? Just waking up. I now wake up 5 o'clock. 4:55, 4:50 to 5 o'clock every day. Alarm or no alarm, I'm up before my alarm. And what I'm realizing, and I told my wife, I said something weird has been happening to me. When it's time for me to go to sleep, my eyes get really dry and they're just like closed, like just lay down, and I go to sleep, and I sleep like pretty good, and I don't wake up. I wake up, you know, and I wake up right before my alarm, and I feel fantastic. Like that's the weirdest thing, right? So then I read an article yesterday, and the person, it was like different than anything I've ever read. Not all of it. Like he was talking about how a good sleep cycle is 90 minutes. I know that. Most people need 5. Like 5 is the average number. So that puts you at 7.5 hours of sleep. And then he was talking about how some people need more, some people need less, but you always want to do increments of 90, and you want to listen to your body. And the person was like, well, what time do you suggest going to bed? He said, no, don't think about it in terms of, I need to go to bed. Think about it in terms of, when do I wake up? He was like, set your alarm for the time you have to get up. So if you have to get up at 7 a.m., get up, set your alarm for 7 a.m. And then for 2 weeks straight, 14 days, get up at 7 a.m., period. And he was like, and what will happen is your body will naturally set you to go to sleep when it needs sleep. And he was like, for some people, that might be 9 hours. For other people, it might be 7.5. For other people, it could be less. But your body will naturally tell you. And then he said that actually you're screwing yourself up. Like you can't make up sleep. Like, oh, I didn't sleep, so I'm going to make up sleep this weekend. He was like, no, that's not how it works. And you are screwing up your rhythm if you sleep it late, because like if you always have to be up at 7, your body adjusts to that. But then when you let yourself sleep to 9 or 10 or whatever, then the next thing you know, your body's like, oh, we don't have to trigger sleep until later. So that actually makes a lot of sense. And inadvertently, it is what we had been doing because of her job, which is crazy. And I feel great. Like, I feel better than I have felt in a long time. Anxiety is much improved. Uh, Seriously, I really can't stress that enough. Do I still get anxious? Yes. Do I still over worry? Yes. But for the most part, like, the anxiety is much improved. Not to mention, one of the times that I've suffered the worst was when I'd be laying there trying to go to sleep and my brain would be like awake and going crazy. Doesn't happen now. My body says, sleep time. It's almost always 12:30. Like, my eyes will start to burn at like 12:25. I shut everything down. I close my eyes. I'm asleep. And I'm up at 5 a.m., which is what? 3 sleep cycles, right? 90, that's 3 hours, an hour and a half, so 4.5 hours. Yeah. So that's 3 sleep cycles. So my body just naturally is like, bang. So if you're having sleep problems, that's a suggestion. It's a thought. Obviously, it's not going to work for everybody, but it was pretty awesome for me, and it's been working. And I will update you later on how that goes. That was number 1. Number 2 big thing, and if anybody wants to send prayers, I would totally appreciate it. You guys might know, I think you do, that I am a face painter, that I started last year, at the end of last year, kind of starting to professionally do face painting. I love it. I really see myself going in the direction of being, and this is crazy, because when I was younger, I thought I didn't like kids, but I kind of love kids, especially in a fun environment. So I really see myself going into like a full children's party entertainment. Like, I would like to be a makeup artist for kids' parties. So I could like do girls' makeup, or boys, that's fine. Face painting, airbrush tattooing, paint parties for kids. Like, I'm really excited. I really enjoy the children's parties. It's so much fun. And they are so excited, and they're so like, I just feel like if you have a fun experience with art, and not everybody can give that to their kids. If you're not particularly turned on by art, and if you feel like you're not good at it or whatever, then your kids might not even realize that they're full of talent and that they love and they have a passion for art. So if you have an artist come in and at a 7-year-old's birthday party, you could change the course of their life. And I know that might sound silly, but I'm very excited about it. So you guys also know my wife just changed her job, and money is not great right now. So I was kind of in this place of like, I do want to take that and do more with it, but I don't want to be operating illegally. So I need to work on my occupational license for this year, my LLC, and my insurance. And I have no idea where that money is supposed to come from, right? It's about $400 for all of that, give or take a bit. Plus, my car is currently not working. And while that, I'm not 100% sure how much it'll cost to fix top to bottom, I do know that I need to start with the alternator, and that's about $110 to $150, right? Okay. I just got an email through a website that I have shopped for paints and stuff from, and they're doing a face painter's grant. So they are going to award somebody a $500 cash grant and a $100 coupon code for products. And you have to write your where you're at in your business and what you would do with the money. So I'm going to write that up over the next couple of days. I have to send it in by January 19th. I'm really, really excited because that could totally cover the cost of the occupational license, the LLC, and the insurance. Plus, it would have about $100 left over I could put towards getting the car fixed so I could actually start booking jobs again. Because you can't really book a job if you don't have a vehicle to get there. So I'm super stoked. I'm praying about that. If y'all want to send me prayers and good luck and vibes, I'll take it. I'm excited. That was my second big announcement. Okay. Number 3. Bras and deodorant. I know. So completely not on the same course, but I've been doing a lot of reading, and it's so weird. It's like you read one thing, and it's like this gives you cancer. You read another thing, and it's like that gives you cancer. Like here's an alternative, and then you read a new article, and it's like that alternative gives you cancer. Here's an alternative, and so on. So I know that you can't really worry from every aspect, but I do feel like breast health has to be on our mind. My grandmother had breast cancer. She survived it. She had it when she was quite young, like I think in her 30s, and then in her 40s, or maybe it was like it was either her late 30s or her early 40s, and then like 10 to 12 years later, she had, I'm lying to you, I'm sorry, in her late 30s, she had cervical cancer. And I know that because actually she was pregnant at the time. That's how they found it. And they were like, you have to get rid of this baby and have the surgery and stuff now. And she was like, no, we're going to have this baby and then we're going to deal with cancer. And so my aunt was born, and my grandmother beat cervical cancer and survived it and lived a very long life after that. She died in her 70s. So then, like 10 to 15 years later, she had breast cancer, and she beat that and survived it, and then she died in her 70s with colon cancer. Yes, oh, I think so. I think that's what it was. But actually, even that, the problem was more her diabetes, and I think she was really tired. She was kind of like, look, I've done this twice before. I am in my 70s. I do not want to do it again. Like, I think when she was in her 30s, it was like, I have this baby and these kids to live for. And when she was in her, 50s, it was her grandkids and her life ahead of her. But by the time she was in her 70s, she was really, Katrina had happened, and her diabetes was picking up. I think she was just kind of over it. But anyway, because of that, I want to take care of my boobies. And I mean, I want to take care of my body, but I really want to be aware. And some of the things that they are talking about is that bras, extremely restrictive bras, and deodorants can trigger things. So I am currently researching natural deodorant alternatives because I also have children. I have 2 daughters, and I'm thinking, like, they're starting to wear deodorant, and I don't want to be sticking poison on them from the age of 10 on. Like, so I'm looking for natural deodorant alternatives, and we are all switching to, like, t-shirt, like, I don't know. This is a sports bra, but it's a very loose fitting, like, kind of like a muscle shirt type one. That's what I'm switching everybody to for in the house or whatever. Sure, like, the research says the more you wear them, the worse it is. So if you wear one for a couple of hours here or there, not a big deal. Some people put their tatas in restrictive bras and wear them 24 hours and sleep in them, and that's supposed to be really bad for you. I am not fussing at anybody or telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I've been thinking about. So I am definitely going to make more of an effort. No, I'm not making more of an effort. I'm not sleeping in my bras anymore. And I used to put one on just to be around the house all day, and now I'm like, no, I have this one. It's like a real loose one, like a loose fitting one, and that's what I'm going to probably wear just to feel more comfortable. And the kids, I don't encourage them to wear them in the house or when we're not doing anything. And if they're wearing sweaters or whatever and they don't need to have one on, I'm totally going with that. And we're working on deodorant in situations I cannot not go. Like, they can't just stop wearing deodorant because they're children and kids get stinky.